And pray for baboons. And with me is my dear friend Jenni Trethowan. Who's going to be telling you a little bit about baboons and her role in their plight, I suppose, and helping them in their plight. But before we start, you want to say hello?
Sorry. Hello, everybody. Thank you for all coming to hear about the baboon today. Appreciate it.
Before we start, we're not going to be on camera all the time. As you know, it's always slightly difficult with the bandwidth here. So I'm just going to lead you into our centering and connecting meditation, and then we'll have some lovely images of our beautiful baboons to look at while we speak and lead you into the meditation. Okay, so just make yourselves really comfortable while I switch my camera off. And you can take a deep breath in and slowly breathe out. And as you breathe out, you can either close your eyes or just softly rest your eyes on our dear old man Eric, who is now in spirit. And he was the oldest known wild baboon on the Cape Peninsula Mountains. He was about 23 years old when he passed, and he's definitely a baboon elder looking after and looking out for everyone. Just take a deep breath in, slowly breathe out. And as you breathe in this beautiful rose gold light that symbolizes the unconditional love of nature. And as you breathe out any anxieties, any worries, any stresses. And as that heaviness leaves you, visualize it being transformed into a lightness, being transformed by that rose gold light into something that is light and beautiful and full of love. Just take a few breaths like that until you're feeling completely at ease. Now, in your next in-breath, I want you to take your focus down to your heart space. And as you breathe in all the love that Mother Nature has for all her beings, including human beings. All that love that Mother Nature has for you, for all the beautiful work you're doing. Breathe that in and let that energy of her unconditional love clean and cleanse your heart, so that when you send love out, it is with a pure, clean heart. And then send that beautiful, unconditional, pure love out from your heart space and send it out to all the nature beings. The ones that perhaps are in the room with you, the ones outside in your gardens, in the fields, or even in the cities, the plant beings, the insect beings, all the animal beings. Send that love out to the very earth, the soil that lies beneath your feet, the minerals, the metals, the rocks, and to the water, and to the skies. Know that that love is limitless and it connects us all. So feel that great connection that you have with all of nature, with all of the earth, and the connection that we have with each other on this call, and anyone else who will be listening to this call as well. And feel this beautiful rose gold light surrounding you, connecting all of us, so that there's no separation, and knowing that we are all one. Just take another deep breath in. Slowly breathe out. and keep your focus on your heart space as you open your eyes and we start this call. Thank you, everyone. So I suppose I want to just to introduce the reason why I felt very called to do this prayer and meditation for the baboons. Many of you know that I work with lions and the White Lion Global White Lion Protection Trust and have so for many years. But I've also worked as closely with the baboons in the Cape Peninsula. And for me, baboons have always been the link between the human animal and the animal. So the two-legged mammals and the four-legged mammals. And even in, if you look at the lions, the white lion connection with Egypt and the sun god, the baboons have that same connection. Here's this amazing image of two baboons praying with the sacred scarab beetle. And this was on a medallion that was found in Tutankhamun's tomb. And there you can see the orbs of the moon and the sun and how they are connected. And again, the baboons were revered in ancient Egypt times. And the god Thoth is always depicted as a baboon, and he is the wisdom keeper. And I think it's no mistake that the baboons are, he is symbolized as a baboon being the wisdom keeper. In African tradition, the baboons are associated with shamanism and the medicine men of the animal world. So when I work with baboons, it's with the same reverence and awe as when I work with the lions, even though they don't seem to be as enigmatic. They are as vital and as important to this planet. So now I'm going to hand over to Jenni, and she's going to just speak a little bit about how she started working with baboons and their plight.
Hi,
Thanks, Jenni.
everybody. Yeah, so I started working with baboons in 1990. At that time in South Africa, it was accepted practice that if baboons were classified as vermin, so baboons, monkeys, porcupine, rats, if they were causing problems, you simply eliminated all of them. In the baboons' case, an entire troop. So in Kommetjie, where we live, this idyllic little village right on the southern tip of Cape Peninsula, an entire troop of baboons was eliminated. They were killed. And at that stage, Wally Peterson had been doing a lot of work with the baboons. Wal was a true visionary because he really believed that if we were going to protect our environment, the change had to come from people. And he worked very closely to get people to realize that we need to change. The thing about the Cape Peninsula baboon population that makes it very different is that we are a city surrounded by a national park, or a national park surrounded by a city, depending on where you are. And the baboon troops are a closed population, so they're incredibly isolated, and they come under an enormous amount of conflict with people because they come into the village areas essentially to get easy food sources. But what is happening on the Cape Peninsula is in fact happening over much of South Africa. Baboons are congregating in areas where there are easy food sources, whether it be the drought, climate change, water. Baboons are congregating where they can get easy food sources. And unfortunately, what we're seeing after a lot of time is that some people are making a lot of effort to find non-lethal methods of management. But for many people, baboons are still very persecuted, in particular the males. So in this instance, Wynter and I are looking after George, who was a really beautiful big boy. But if we look at the current population statistics for the Cape Peninsula population, there are 9 adult male baboons left in the southern managed troops, and only 9 adult males left in the northern managed troops. And since that census was done, at least another 3 or 4 baboons have been killed under the management protocol. The management protocols say that if baboons are deemed to be problem causing, or if they have built up a case history of coming into conflict with people, coming down to get waste, they can be killed. So the image that you're looking at now is the image of Angelina, who is a very iconic baboon because she is the last surviving adult female from her troop, the Misty Cliffs troop. And she was joined by 2 of her sisters recently. And in this instance, Angelina rescued the juvenile's mother had been killed as well. So Angelina took on her own infant and the juvenile, looked after them both. And we really did appeal for a moratorium to stop the killing. But as I said, Angelina was joined by 2 other adult females, and they each had juveniles. So at the start of this year, we had 6 baboons left out of the 18, and 2 of the juveniles were killed. One knocked over by a car, and the other one in a very suspicious incident in a swimming pool. So we've got four baboons left from one troop. But as I said, what is happening on the Cape Peninsula must really be seen as an example of what is happening to baboons over the whole of South Africa. Many villages are reporting that the baboons are coming down for easy foods. The farmers, report crop damages. The vineyards are saying, the baboons are coming in for the grapes. And, even in areas where baboons should be absolutely protected within our national parks, the baboons are very, very clever, and they know that they can go to picnic sites, for example, and take advantage of human food that has been left behind. So in all of these instances, what we really need to see is that human beings need to stop thinking that lethal methods of management, violent methods of management are working. And we need to recognize that there is incredible climate change, incredible planetary change, increasing pressure on the land. And with all of those situations, we need to start paying more cognizance and understanding to our wildlife neighbors. And if we can understand better and respect them for who they are and what they need, then I think we would very quickly move away from lethal methods and violent methods of management and start embracing the change that needs to happen.
Mm. Well, that's so true, Jen. And just this morning I got alerted that, there's a big male wandering around Johannesburg, the suburbs of Johannesburg, and you're saying that he's probably a dispersing male from the Johannesburg area. And I suppose that it's just a symbol of how the urban sprawl is getting so close to their normal dispersion areas.
And the urbanization in so many areas is cutting off historic routes. So routes where a young dispersing male might go walking, to find a new troop to join. He is now just encountering urbanization, and particularly, I don't know if anybody's traveled to Johannesburg recently. I mean, it's astonishing. Every time I go to Johannesburg, it looks completely sprawled out even more. So in the city of, the biggest city in South Africa, and yet the baboon males are coming through the city as they're looking for other troops. So yes, we have been fighting. We have been fighting for advocacy.
Yeah. No, you
So we've been fighting for advocacy to basically stop killing our baboons. Up in the pine plantations, up in Sabi, what is happening to the baboons there is absolutely horrific. And so we at Baboon Matters are trying to create awareness for the plight of baboons across South Africa, to make people understand, typically when one thinks of wildlife, we think of the big animals, the elephants, the lions, the rhinos, and of course the heinous things that are happening to those species. We think about the giraffes that have recently been put onto the endangered lists. And but somehow or another, the poor old baboons and the vervet monkeys get overlooked to a large degree. And I think in part it is because for so many years they have been regarded purely and solely as damage-causing animals, instead of being recognized for the highly intelligent. They feel every single emotion that we feel. So that people need to be more aware of, and so that people start thinking about different methods of how we can coexist on this planet.
Mm. Thank you, Jen. I think you've summed it up really, really well. Thank you. So, I'd like to just start off with these few words and then go into a visualization so that we can just lend our energy, our heart energy to creating a reality, creating a different way of humans being with baboons and baboons being with humans. And as we know, the power of visualization and prayer is immense. So even if if you feel hopeless, if you feel there's nothing you can do as an individual, just doing these visualizations and really holding that space of hope and joy and understanding makes such a big difference. So if you can just now close your eyes or gently rest them on the images and just follow my voice, and then we'll go into this powerful visualization. So I can feel the lion energy around me. I can feel Eric's and George's energy around me, the baboons that we knew and loved and still love so well, holding the space with us. So may all baboons be understood, respected, honored, appreciated, and loved. May all baboons be listened to and be allowed to live in peace. May all humans be compassionate, understanding, respectful, tolerant, loving, peaceful, and neighborly to all beings of nature, and in this instance, the baboons, who live so closely with us. So now as you go into your heart space again, feeling that unconditional, pure, clean love that you have for all of nature, send that love out to the baboons, even if you've never seen one in real life. Imagine them walking peacefully and freely in their natural spaces, and send that love out to them. See them being protected and safe within the human habitats, where humans do choose to live where baboons are. See those humans taking responsibility for their own environment, taking care of their waste, being aware of their furry cousins who are so closely related to us, and all the other wildlife that takes advantage of the humans' wastefulness and abundance. See humans and baboons living in harmony, coexisting in a place, in a space of peace and understanding, of respect and tolerance, of neighborliness. And just hold that vision in your heart and send it out to all those places throughout South Africa, throughout Africa, throughout India, and the other places where primates are being so persecuted because they so easily adapt to human environments. And as we end off this visualization and prayer, I just want to read to you the words that came to me from the baboons as I was building this presentation. I am of you. I see you in my own eyes. You see me. We walk this path together, although you may not know it. What I experience, you experience. What I feel, you feel. What you feel, I feel. I am your mirror. I am your darkness and your light. Press your palm to mine and see how we are the same. Be in love, be in joy. I pray that we can walk together always, in peace, in harmony, in joy, in love. Thank you, everyone. I want to just take a deep breath in, and if you haven't opened your eyes already, just open your eyes. Feel your feet firmly on the ground. And just keep this feeling in your heart, this one of joy and love for our furry cousins. And it's just amazing. There's only 6% difference in our DNA between these primates and ourselves. That's why we feel so familiar with them when we look into their eyes. And they obviously feel that same similarity and familiarity. Jen, is there anything you'd like to say?
I think sometimes that the situations we feel regarding our planet and the species can be overwhelming. But I would just like to reiterate what Wynter's been saying, that for each and every one of us, it's not only managing our waste, it's not only our carbon footprint, but it's also the emotional footprint that we leave. If we start dealing with things that worry us with more of an understanding and an openness, and think about how we can react differently, because up to now, particularly with the baboons and the little vervets, people respond too angrily. And if we could just set aside that anger and start trying to be more understanding, and I don't mean that we want baboons living in the villages with us, but I do mean that we need to be understanding and tolerant of who they are and how we can live differently.
Thanks, Jen. And I think that moves to even how the anger spreads amongst the people as well. You know, even people who are all loving the baboons, but but have different opinions. There can be people do get so angry about things, and then they take it out on each other. So just to be aware of how we deal with other humans as well, and really to spread that compassion and understanding throughout with everyone, because I think so many of us are feeling this despair and this desperation for our planet, and not all of us know how to deal with it. So if we can just start by transforming that anger into with transforming it with love into a more peaceful way and a more understanding, and so much more can be achieved. So, and I know all of you on this call are doing that and doing your best. So just carry on spreading that beautiful heart energy that you are harnessing from nature and from the animals. One more thing just before we go. When you leave the webinar, you will be directed to the Baboon Matters website, which you could just please read through it, see the wonderful work that Jenni and the organization are doing still, and for baboons throughout South Africa. And if you feel called to donate a bit more, please do. Every cent, every penny helps. And thank you so much for the generous donations that you have made already with this call, and they will all be going directly to Baboon Matters. So thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, it's really, really appreciated the fact that you took time to listen about the baboons and that you have supported us in that. And particularly as the year closes and we know that we've got a lone male walking through Johannesburg, and we know that Angelina and her juvenile and her two sisters are facing very tough changes ahead of them. If we could just especially keep them in your thoughts as well. But thank you so much for your time and for your support.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Janine, as always, for holding that space for everyone, so that we don't have to worry about it. Thank you.
Thank you both so much, and it's always my pleasure to be here. I just want to let everybody know that when the recording becomes available, which will probably be later today, you can scroll down, and beneath the recording will be an open chat conversation area. If anybody wants to make any comments, then Wynter and myself will look through those and can answer accordingly. So thank you everyone for joining this incredibly important cause. Thank you, Wynter and Jenni. It just fills my heart hearing you talk about your love for the baboons. And have a lovely weekend, everyone, and we'll be back soon. Bye for now.
Thanks.